Hey Hard Garbage Squad, it's been a while. We're doing account reviews. Before we get into it, I want you guys to know we changed the format. You see, people are flooding in right now with questions. So I've changed the format. Instead of having 8 monsters and I look at 8 monsters, we're gonna have specific questions so I can answer them and help you make what you want. Okay? So this person's looking for an AD. And when I look at AD, the first few monsters to look at are speed leads and tank monsters, right? And I don't see any speed leads on your team. So what I'm going to say here is you're very early game. You're not going to run a Triton type of defense. You're going to run a stall defense. Molong, very good for stall defense because of the HP lead. So Molong, number 1. Number 2 is definitely not this unit. People who put Bin Pan on their defense, very questionable. Okay, number 2, I'm gonna assume you have a Darien. So number 2 is Darien. The reason why I put Darien is because you're gonna use an R5, but also because it's damage mitigation here, right here. So it actually works. And you want to pair your Darien with like a Triana. So I don't know if you have a Triana. If you don't have a Triana, you want a healer. Healers are typically like Prahas, Belios, Harmonias. If you don't have any of those, you can use a Bella. Okay, it's a very free-to-play friendly defense considering you're very early in the game. So Molong, Bella for sure, and then you can also put your Darien. And if you're your last monster, I see you got this from the event. If you don't have runes for it, that's fine. What I'd probably do is Harmonia or Triana is your last 2. Triana is fusible, but I would say your core defense monsters are going to be your Molong, Darien, Bella, and probably this unit. This unit has a nuke, but it's also HP scaling, so it works with your Molong. If you want to build some free-to-play AD defenses, I would suggest the Rune. Rune would work a lot better and have Molong, Rune, and like Bella, for example, and a Darien. That'd be a pretty good stall for early game defense if I were you. Okay, moving on. Can I help you make an AO? Yes, I can. So you are Conqueror 1. Hope your box is out in the open so I can take a look at what you currently have. All right, you have Bastet number 1. So Bastet, double Lucian. Actually, you don't even need double Lucian. You have Bastet, 1 speed Lucian, and 1 speed Julie. So this is for dungeon farming probably. So 1, 2, and Lucian. And then you have a fat Lucian team right here. Okay, there's 2 things you can do. 2 things you can do. If you have a Leo, and judging by your runes, they're not very fast. So I'm assuming you're gonna use a Leo. So what I would do is I would use Bastet on your fastest Swift runes, Leo on like triple fight or high res and fight or just DPS set, and then 1 speed Lucian or speed Lucian, which is gonna be like slow Lucian because you hit with Leo, and then you want a Julie. And then you make 1 super like thick Lucian, 85 crit rate, and doing at least 12 10k cards depending what rank you're hitting. Okay, so that's your team. And also you have a Samoth for a speed lead for where you can test speed teams, but you're going to be running this thing on Will, this thing on your fastest Swift set, and your Leo. Okay, so it's going to be a Lucian team, and you can also use this as a leader skill for 33 attack. Zyros, Bastet, Leo, Lucian. You don't really need that much speed tuning considering how you're using a Leo. But your team is going to be Lucian and Leos. Alright. Could you recommend a decent RTA team with my monsters? Okay, yep, no problem. Decent RTA teams. 262 days in, you're probably not focusing too much on RTA. But if you want to have fun, what I'd probably do is 100% right here, 2, because you never know when people are going to run that stupid Ganny Thor stuff or anything that with debuffs, and you're going to need Anvil for a flex. And keep in mind, when you rune for RTA, you're going to want your best runes on a few select monsters. And it's probably this guy, and these 2. These 2 will be your core. Forever, these 2 will be your core, right? So you will always draft around these. 1, 2, 3, 4, Theomars, maybe a Jean, and a Verd. Like your holy trinity is going to be Lauren, Verd, Fran. Literally your holy trinity. And obviously this, because this unit is busted. So build around this unit, and Verd. And then build like your DPS unit, which is going to be this. Your Wind Panda. And your Theomars. Like, this unit is going to do so much work at lower levels. When a Biome procs with attack buff and Lauren, it's going to do so much work. And if you can't get this 100 crit rate, it's going to be very hard to use. Reduce the speed and get 100% crit rate. This unit must have 100% crit rate. Okay? Must have. Must have. And this 98 is acceptable. But it should really be on Revenge. If you don't have Revenge runes, Vomit is fine. But Triple Revenge or Vomit Revenge is like the only build for Verd. Unless you're in a Swift Verd for cleaving. Is this AD fine? Tiana's my only consistent stripper and have no 33 speed lead. Okay, let me take a look. No, this AD is not fine because if you have no speed lead, it's very easy for anyone to cleave you. If you think about it, anyone that runs a speed unit or a Leo can just Lucian this team. So Kabila needs a 33 speed lead to go with it. Amir, like you're putting a slow cleave onto your defense. It's not gonna work. Remember the first guy is just like a stall defense? I would do something like that. You're right. You're right. Amir got a speed lead. You're right. Amir, I totally forgot. Amir got a buff. It's a speed lead buff now. You're right, but it's not gonna work still because it's a 24 speed lead. It's not gonna work. It's a 24% speed lead. Anyone with 33% speed lead will crush it. But also, I'm inclined to say your Kabila is not very fast. Because when you have Tiana and Kabila in your defense, I'm inclined to say it's probably not that fast. Right? 172 is honestly, like a lot of fighter players have 300 Swift sets, right? A lot of fighter players have 300 Swift sets. I'm going to say it's not that good because you have 2 attack bar buffers and then you have Asima and then Amir to try to clean up. I don't think running a speed type defense like that in Conqueror will do, but if you're that low, I think anything gets away as long as you focus on your monster. Should I remove my red touch on Will / Revenge instead of Guardian? Oh, Guard. Okay, Guard. So let's take a look at this Ratesh here. 107 speed, 334. Okay crit rate here. It's pretty beefy. Yes, pretty beefy. Okay, you know what? This is a blue rune. The Guard set doesn't offer too much here. Like, this is a blue rune, it's fast and all, but if you have a Revenge rune that's equally as fast and you lose some stats here, I think the Revenge might be more useful. The fact, like, people put Revenge on their monsters because there's RNG to win, but also because on Ratesh, if you Revenge and you crit, you get speed buff, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And if it doesn't, the Revenge is still more damage. However, like, only this rune is very respectable. You know what I mean? Only this one is really respectable. So I'm going to say, in a PvP setting, Revenge will always be better. Help with AD. Okay, no problem. Let's take a look. What do you have here? No water monsters stand out. I'm looking at Camilla. No Camilla. Looking at fire monsters, nothing really stand out. Wind monsters, only this. Okay, you're very early game. You're very, very early game. If you wanted to just have an arena defense monster, like just have a team readily available, I'd probably just do something like this. 1, 2. Toxic units. 1, 2. And then we have Eladriel for the HP lead for your Triana. And then your last unit can be like a Miho. If you don't have a Miho, I feel like even Skogul might work because you have the 50% HP lead. And then you have really thick wind monsters. And if they can't cleave you, you win with Skogul, right? And then by having this unit, it's an answer to RNGs. If they don't have will runes, you can RNG butt blast them. So Eladriel, Triana, and Terrace, Skogul. All HP monsters, You don't have any fire monsters that can kind of counter the meta. You don't have any LD monsters at all, or no speed defenses. And you know, I don't really say Rune or Camilla, so that's what I would do, okay? I need an AD and AO, please. I didn't play for 2 years. I started again. I don't know what works now. Well, 2 years ago, we used Tiana and Lucian. 2 years later, we still use Tiana and Lucian. So I'm gonna say the AD meta probably changed. I probably look at this. I ruined this on speed HP HP or HP HP HP, at least 25,000 HP bonus, and a lot faster, like 50 more speed here. Reduce the crit damage by like 50-40% and put all those stats elsewhere is what I would suggest. And then we have this on like triple HP as well. And then we have, I'm assuming you just have a Triton. Okay, no Triton. Okay. There's a lot of things you can do with your box. A lot of people run like Vanessa, Triana, Camilla +1 for a stall defense. Or they run like a speed defense, but I really don't see any speed defense type monsters. So I think probably the best bet is going to be like Vanessa, Triana, Camilla, all on tank based builds, and you do a +1 unit. A lot of the times +1 unit is usually a Juno for the strips and also as an anti-cleaver. And I really don't see it, but you can do Rakan as well. Or people do Rakan, double harps, Harmonia, Triana, and a Camilla. That is pretty old school, but I think most of the time nowadays people do Vanessa, Triana, Camilla, and a +1 variation. So that's what I would say. And by the way, I would not put Ritesh there. A lot of people put Miho because it's a good counter to like a lot of things because crit rate. So there he is. All right, last person on the list, Cham. Okay, the question was, please help with AD. Okay. It's going to be very similar to what I've been saying, but I guess it's more like catered towards you because of your team here. All right, very simple right here. You have 1, put it on Will, very excellent. 2, I don't even care if this is on Will or not, because in Conqueror levels or in low Guardian levels, people don't see you often. And when you're at top 30, people can refresh your list and you pop up over and over and over again. But in Conqueror, Fighter, Guardian 1, your name isn't going to appear the same time over and over again. So in lower ranks, the trick is to put Triton, 33 speed lead. Doesn't matter if it has runes, doesn't matter if it's fast, doesn't matter if it has will. It's a scare tactic. And to complete your scare tactic, you're going to put your Rika that I saw here. And your last unit can be a Jean. Your Jean should be pretty beefy because if it doesn't die from a fat Lucian, it has the ability to control the playing field and heal and control. And with Eureka, who's fire, is most likely not going to die to a fat Lucian. Or if it does, you just have negative runes or they're just very powerful, right? So this is a correct build and that's what I would do for your AD. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next AD, or I don't know if I can call this account review series.